You a Dune nigga? You a Dune nigga?
Bro, I'm not a Dune nigga, but I give Dune the respect I give One Piece, not being a One Piece nigga.
I was about to say, if you said Dune was a good ass book, that you're a damn lie, because niggas struggle to read that. Niggas struggle to read that book.
You tried.
It's a hard book to read. It's a really difficult book to read. I got like a fourth of the way into it. My thing with Dune is that personally, when it comes to fiction, I'm more of a fantasy guy. That's really science fiction, and it leans so heavily on the political and religious themes. I was just like having a hard time getting into. The immersion was like this tough for me.
Okay.
And so, but it's a great book. It's fantastic. They're coming out with a series actually. It's supposed to be pretty fucking good.
Wait, the series? No. They're coming out with a movie, nigga. They're coming out with a movie. They're coming out with a movie.
I hate that shit. That book is so fucking intricate. No way they're gonna do it justice in a fucking movie.
They did a series. And I'm still getting through the first episode of that bitch. Every episode is like an hour.
Yeah.
So it's
fucking heavy.
It's heavy. I'm just like, okay, nice, but I like what they're doing. It's like they're mixing some spiritual shit with some political, just like you said, and it's like, but now what they have with this movie is they have the CGI to really bring the shit to life. Because the only thing the guy was missing was he didn't have the technology at the time to really show you niggas how visually cool it could be, and then maybe catch us with that. And if he gets to do it with this one, like we were saying, the genre of the book movie might come back, because most of them have transitioned to series following the Game of Thrones formula. All the books are going into series now, but I feel like if they hit this one out of the park, then it might be the beginning of an era. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we were talking about Eye of the World earlier. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a series as well.
Yeah. They're making a series for that. So those type of things you need to make series because there's so much in them. I only read the first book of Eye of the World, but so even the Lost Symbol, the Da Vinci Code, they're making a series of that. And I think the reason why they skipped.
God damn!
I'm sorry.
The disgust.
I'm so big in it towards fantasy, bro. Like, what is it called? Historical fantasy or historical fiction? I guess if you're into that, I get it.
Yeah, Da Vinci Code was the only one I got into because for me it was like crazy. But for example, I was just saying that those type of books need to be a series because you can't do them in a movie. That's kind of the reason why they skipped it in the Da Vinci Code. So they made like the 2 movies. The next one should have been The Lost Symbol, but they skipped over it because there's so much shit in it. They're making a series.
That's all smart.
Pretty smart, yeah. But in terms of, here's the issue with this shit, is that you have a bunch of niggas that basically have this book as a religion. That's basically how it is. Like some books, if they fuck it up in any form or fashion, then that series of movies done. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Percy Jackson. Niggas love Percy Jackson. niggas love the actor, Logan Letterman, whatever. But they fucked up the series. They fucked up the movies.
They did.
And now the whole fandom was pissed off at them. So now they're making a series of Percy Jackson as well. But the guy, Rick Riordan, who wrote it, is involved now. So hopefully it's a little bit better.
He wasn't before?
No, apparently not.
Of course not. Yeah, that shit was trash. All
exactly.
Right. That's good. That's good.
But the thing is, they had the perfect Percy. They had the kind of book there. Everything was set. So that's the thing about book movies and book series, is that you kind of have a script. They give you the script. They say, here, I just need you to adapt this and put it on the screen. That's all you need to do. But as a writer, you're gonna read this shit and be like, but I'm the nigga. I can make this better than it is, because no one wants to like take some shit and then translate
make it into a movie,
and just because then you feel like you're not doing shit. So there's some translation shit.
They want to put their own special spin on it.
Exactly.
I think the problem with it, honestly, is more fundamental than that. I think that what makes so many books special aren't the things that you can transpose into a film adaptation. I don't know, man. All the parts that you want to like put onto a movie screen, I can imagine that shit. What's awesome about the book is the little details that you can't put and make special in a movie. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why you have to give like respect to shit like Harry Potter. Like they did that shit.
It's an entirely different thing, though.
Yeah, it's different, but it's still respectable because there's such a large fan base that basically fuck with just the movie.
It seems like we're ready. Are we ready to discuss retrospective Twilight saga?
Yeah.
Are we ready?
I'm so embarrassed. I don't even know how to do it. Can I do this? Alright,
I'm gonna be real.
Okay.
Let me get it before, but I stand by. I fucked with the books. I stand by.
I'm not standing by that shit. I read them shits.
I stand by it because
I'm not standing by
as I said, as soon as they brought in the powers, that's when I got invested. They had that whole glossy at the back about abilities and powers and shit. That's what got me. I was like, here we go. It was not about the love story between Bella and Edwin. I didn't care about that shit.
But you had to get through all that just to finish the first two books because the shit didn't get interesting until the third book. So,
yeah, what? So first book.
Yeah, y'all niggas waded in some waters. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, y'all in there.
You were deep in that shit, nigga,
Second book, that whole werewolf dynamic was dope. It was like the shit that was happening, figuring out the werewolves, how they communicate, the tribes, all that fucking shit.
Yeah,
getting the nigga alpha. That was second book. That was cool. That made it to the third book. Third and fourth books was where the powers came in. And you had the Volturi. That's what even in the first book, you had little tidbits about their powers, right? Like, why the fuck can't Edward read this bitch's mind? Alice can see the future. If it was just straight vampires, I would not have enjoyed it. But
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, that I was invested in the abilities. So as soon as that shit was popping off, that's what got, as I said, give me a good magic system. I would pretty much read anything.
Facts. Nah, that's facts. He's spitting.
I will pretty much, listen to me, Slopes. I would pretty much read anything. But you want to be a bestseller, you gotta have your characters right. Gotta make sense.
I gave this nigga lore. I just gave this nigga a lore book. And he was like, yeah, no give a fuck, but the story has to be good. And then I'm like, you
had a whole history about how niggas came to this shit, they fighting shit, butt shit, abilities.
I gave you the abilities though at the end though.
You gave me the history. You gave me the history of the world, and then you tickled in about how some of the powers were. Don't you remember asking all those questions about the swordsman? Remember when I was asking all those questions about the swordsman? How it works, different types of swordsmen, different types of ability. That's what I cared about. That was me. So you're gonna give me a history about how shit began and shit like that. That shit is reference for me. If you talk about a place, I go to the map in the book. I'm like, this place here, I got you. Let's go. I'm alright. So unless you trickle in some magical lost abilities that got lost from the battle of Kamahela, I'm excited for that because I'm like, yeah, niggas gonna find those lost abilities of Kamahela and fuck shit up.
Alright. No. I'll take your point. Dizzy,
I think Dizzy reads fucking more than I do. So he can probably tell you about characters and bullshit. But
it seems like Dizzy's on the same shit. He wants a lore too.
I'm on the same shit with you are, but I've been reading and listening to theory about like what makes plots work in fantasy, and it's more to do with how the characters use the powers to solve the problems that you set in front of them. And because of that dynamic, that's what makes like powers interesting, right? Like that's what's cool about it. Them using these interesting and intricate ass fucking magic systems to solve these, they don't have to be complex problems, but like the problems of the universe. And I'm so fucking into it. It's so cool.
So basically what I do now in terms of books is audiobooks, right?
Oh.
And the ones that I listen to, next time I've spoken about this with you, like
superpowers.
Most of them either superpowers, like the superpower, that series crazy, cultivation books, where I don't know how much you niggas know about cultivation books, but niggas cultivate. They get into different tiers of abilities and powers, and then they get like more streamlined types of abilities. So you cultivate a certain path, and then you have the type of power, abilities. It's all around those realms. And the reason I love that is that cultivation is such a good base for a magic system.
Real quick, before we get too much deeper into it, are you aware of the differences between hard and soft magic and what goes into distinguishing those two things?
Oh, fuck. I remember reading some bullshit about that a while ago. But yeah,
some bullshit about it? Sam, have you heard about the methodology?
No, sir.
You
no,
haven't
sir.
heard. I'm gonna explain it to you.
Break it down.
Soft magic and hard magic are on two different ends of the spectrum, right? Hard magic has rules, right? It follows specific patterns, and for every action there is a usually negative reaction. It's like I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Gandalf. Does anyone know what Gandalf can do and why he can do it?
Fuck no.
That's a soft magic system. Everything you know about the Star Wars universe and the Force, that's hard magic, right? Like we know what the Force is. We know that it's like what the cells in them. I forget what it's called.
Metatorians?
Some shit like that, whatever it is. But there are rules. There's even like orders to how strong you get. So that's hard magic. And I'm a hard magic guy because I think that magic systems are so much cooler when you are aware of the limitations. It makes the characters being creative more fun to read about. I don't like soft magic. So when you were talking about the cultivation shit, like, is that hard? Is it soft? Like, where do they get their powers from?
Pause, nigga. God damn.
Cultivation, depending on which kind of book you read, it differs, but it's mostly like hard.
Okay.
It always operates. So the principles operate around the same thing. It's basically people start with a base core, and based off that core, they start to kind of release nodes throughout their body, so that the core's energy can be released through their bodies, and through that path, they do certain techniques or abilities. Your cultivation technique affects the type of core you have, so you can only do these type of abilities. Another one talks about having 3 forms of abilities. So it would be, I'm trying to put it down, but it's not. But yeah, strike.
Sounds like hard magic to me, dog.
It's super hard magic. Yeah.
It's hard magic. It's hard magic. That's all I wanted to know. You just want to know if it's hard magic.